Hello?
Hey, is this Byron?
Yes, sir.
Byron, this is John Schneider with the Seattle Seahawks. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Good, man. Hey, we don't care what your agent says about you, man. We think you're a hell of a football player. We're going to select you right here, okay, buddy?
Yes, sir.
The Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, did a really good job adding day one starters to their team for next season, and also a bunch of guys that have potential to be day one starters in the future. I mean, you talk about Byron Murphy, Haynes, Nehemiah Pritchett, and then stealing a guy like DJ James in the later rounds as well. And the one thing I love about this new look Seattle Seahawks team is new head coach Mike MacDonald. He is going to revamp this defense. You can tell right away that was a priority for him. Now you add a guy like Byron Murphy, who is going to add tremendous depth alongside Leonard Williams, Andreron Reed, Boye Mafe, Uchenna Nwosu. This is going to be one of the most terrifying defensive fronts in all of football right away, but also in the future as well. And then the secondary with the healthy Tariq Woolen, Devon Witherspoon, Nehemiah Pritchett, DJ James. You add Rayshawn Jenkins, have Julian Love, and Trey Brown, Artie Burns. I mean, this is deep. Has so much potential. I mean, Nehemiah Pritchett and DJ James alone are future starters in the NFL. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about this brand new Seattle Seahawks draft class, what they add, what they bring, and who they are as players. Before we get into that though, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. I won't be able to cover every draft pick in this video, so if you guys do want to see part 2, the later round picks, comment down below part 2. And with that being said, let's jump right into this video. Now, on this first play I want to show you guys, I want you guys to keep your eye on Byron Murphy. This guy is tremendous in terms of getting to the quarterback, creating pressure, making sure the comfortable is not comfortable in the pocket, but also being a good run stopper, reading and reacting. That is the most important thing in football. Being able to read and react in a matter of a split second is so important, right? Now look at this play here. He's going to read this pulling guard, so that way he's going to get to the right side. He already knows that since his guard is pulling, he should get to this side of the formation. He's going to do a really good job block shedding. Now watch, instead of attacking the gap, he actually rotates over to the right side because he knows he needs to follow this pulling guard. Again, gets off another block there, gets right in the gap, and stops the run. This guy is an absolute monster. The first thing you notice about Byron Murphy is his production score, his athleticism score, his total score at the NFL Combine was off the charts, was one of the best in the entire NFL Combine, was actually #1 in total score for defensive tackles. It has a good combination of power, strength, size, quickness, and versatility as an interior D lineman at Texas. And the NFL says he will become a good starter within 2 years. For me, I think this guy has complete boom potential. I think he is going to be massive. Now, when you look at his strengths from last season, he has a compact frame, carries outstanding lean muscle. I think the dude is built for the NFL, right? He also uses twitchy, controlled bursts to, light up the gaps and disrupt play development. He's got an elite combination of strength, balance, flexible power in his lower half, something you need for your interior defensive linemen. He's got quick strike hands to help maneuver around blocks and chase play development. He's got pass rush driven by relentless energy, and just gets the edge to edge quickness is unbelievable as well. And I think there are some weaknesses to his game you guys can see if you want to look at him, but there's a lot of people, especially some AFC scouts, that say, I know people talking about Sweat, but Murphy is a guy who will be the better pro. If he was bigger, he would be talked about as much as any defensive tackle in the NFL draft. They get him with their first pick here. And while we look at the defensive, depth chart here, you talk about now the versatility and the depth that you have in the interior defensive linemen. You have Leonard Williams, Jaron Reed, Dremont Jones, Boye Mafe. I mean, this is going to be one of the most lethal interior defensive lines in all of football. And when you look at them from last season, this is a team who could not stop the run to save their lives. 4.6 in yards allowed per rush, number 31 in rush yards allowed per game, and 30 in rushing touchdowns allowed per game, as well as 13 in QB sacks sack percentage, they need to find a way to get to the quarterback as well as stop the run, and Byron Murphy brings exactly that to the Seattle Seahawks team, who is going to revitalize what their defense was last year under Mike MacDonald. This is going to be a brand new football team going into next season, and Byron Murphy is a steal at pick number 16. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Byron Murphy. With the Seattle Seahawks back in the clock, they've decided to make a very interesting selection here. They're adding a guard in Christian Haynes with the 81st overall pick in the 3rd round. This guy actually rated out as an 89.0 PFF grade since 2022, which was 3rd among all guards in the NCAA over the past couple seasons. A guy who's been very productive at a consistent level for the majority of his career in college football, and he's going to go over to Seattle, maybe not be a day one starter, but definitely has the potential to develop into a stud. Now in this, he's 6'3", 317 pounds, great value here in the 3rd round, will eventually be an average starter. I think he could even be better than an average starter, right? Look at his combine scores, 4th, 7th, 2nd, was really good in the combine, and someone I did not think would be here this late. Now you look at 2023, was 3rd team Associated Press All-American, started 12 games at right guard, was pretty much right guard for the majority of his career. So that's where he's going to play. Projected rounds 2 and 3. If you look at his overview, was a 4-year starter and team captain, a guy who has leadership traits and someone who can be a very big leader, have that role in the locker room down the line as well. He's sturdy at the point of attack. He plays football with intelligence and sees every snap as a mandate to move opponents and finish blocks. This guy is just a unit, right? His draft slotting could be effective. That doesn't really matter. The hand usage can get sloppy, allowing opponents to slip away from him. Definitely has some things to work on. But all things considered, he may outplay his draft slotting and become a solid NFL starter. You look at some of his strengths. He's compact and powerful through his upper body, understands angles and accelerates through his targets, gets into gets into blocks with a strong desire to move and finish his opponent. A guy who just wants to win every single rep. Love to have that in the NFL. Moves feet to catch counters and twist at either gap. Pass sets with good posture and stays square to action. A guy that you just really would want on your football team in terms of leadership and the mindset of just wanting to win every single rep. I do like it. They have some, positions of need at the O-line position. They've done a lot of free agency. Nick Harris, Tremaine Antrim, George Fant, right? They've added a lot of talent along the offensive line, but this is a guy who can learn, develop, and kind of turn into a starter down the line. I really like this pickup alongside Byron Murphy at D-tackle. The number one thing in the NFL, you have to protect your quarterback and get to the quarterback. Both these things help tremendously, so I do like this selection overall. Last season, their run game wasn't amazing. I think he helps out a little bit in that aspect, and also number 10 in sack percentage last season might even help out in that perception if he does end up being a starter. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Now, a funny thing about this year's Seattle Seahawks draft class is they knew right away where the underrated players were. One being Nehemiah Pritchett and DJ James, 2 Auburn cornerbacks that last year were coming into the draft. They thought they were going to be 1st or 2nd round draft picks. Didn't have the best years in total because Auburn is a rebuilding team. So the hype wasn't really there when the season started. But these guys still, on the film, are really good players. On this play specifically, we get Nehemiah Pritchett versus Malik Neighbors, a number 6 overall draft pick, one of the best wide receivers in this draft class, versus LSU and Jaden Daniels, right? Now, the one thing you notice about these Auburn DBs, man, they cover, right? They cover. Now, they did struggle at times because the defensive line weren't great, but here in Seattle, you have Leonard Williams, Jerron Reed, Byron Murphy, Boye Mafe, Uchenna Nwosu. They're going to get to the quarterback, and Dremont Jones, right? Let's not forget about him. So they're going to be able to get to the quarterback. Narrating more why they're good fits. And here we go with the Seattle Seahawks back on the clock, making some really good picks throughout this year's NFL draft. They come back and draft one of my favorite players in this year's draft. Well, after the 4th round, I thought this guy was going to be a steal, and I still think he is going to be a steal in this year's NFL draft. Nehemiah Pritchett out of Auburn, coming into last season with the Auburn Tigers, was supposed to be a 1st round draft pick if he played well, dealt with a lot of injuries, but when he was healthy, was really productive at the collegiate level. In the SEC, I think he is a very talented player, and I think the Seahawks just got a steal here in Nehemiah Pritchett, right into the 5th round. But with that being said, let's dive into Nehemiah Pritchett. After you guys subscribe, Now, yes, is a senior out of Auburn, 6 foot, good size, good speed, good quickness, had an overall 8th overall in athleticism score in the draft combine, and was graded out as a good backup with potential to develop into a starter. You get a potential starter in the 5th round of the NFL draft. Hey, good job, Seattle. You just got yourself a good player. 4.36, 40-yard dash, one of the best out of DBs. He started 9 games, 22 tackles, a TFL, interception, 3 pass breakups, and did miss the first 3 games due to an injury. But again, only allowed 13 catches all year long. He's long, he's slender, a good outside corner who might have enough in man or off-man coverage for consideration in most coverage schemes. I think this is a guy who should not have fallen this far. I think he should have been an early 4th round pick. He's fairly comfortable from press and will hug up on double moves and comebacks. This is a guy you can plug in right away if you need to. I don't think you need to here in Seattle. Let's look at their depth chart real quick. So you go to Seattle's depth chart, you look at the DBs here. You have Tariq Woolen, you have Devon Witherspoon, you have Michael Jackson, you also have Nehemiah Pritchett, Artie Burns. I think Nehemiah Pritchett is going to be a guy who might not be a day 1 starter, but pretty soon I think he could definitely make his way up there and become a really good player here for this team. Great size, athleticism, outstanding arm length, has the footwork to mirror and match release from his pedal, match the receiver's tempo, times up ball challenger with proper angles, attacks the catch point. Dude, this dude can do everything you need out of a corner. And last year, they ranked number 24 in yards allowed per pass, 22 in yards allowed per game in terms of the air, and 21 in interception percentage. Not a guy who's going to get you too many interceptions, but definitely a guy who's underrated, and I love this pick. Now, DJ James, cornerback out of Auburn, 6 foot, good size, 175 pounds, a little bit light, does need to put on some muscle, but will eventually be a plus starter. Guys, you are getting a potential stud in the 6th round of this year's NFL draft. Whenever you see this, will eventually be a plus starter in the 6th round, you know that this guy's been slept on. I don't know what it is, but let's look, right? He ran a 4.42, right? But projected 3rd round corner. You guys are getting him 3 rounds later. Doesn't make sense. Maybe it's his frame that's, scaring some teams, but smooth mirror and match in his back pedal. Premium balance and body control. Coverage transitions are fluid at the top of the route. Hey, listen, I watched every single Auburn game. I'm telling you right now, this dude's got amazing coverage skills, great athleticism. He's going to be a starting nickel in a couple of years. I guarantee it. He stays in phase throughout the route. Highly reactive from zone off coverages, and sudden plant and drive creates on-ball disruption. This guy is good. Both in zone and man coverage comes naturally. Bigger bodies can give him trouble, but he's got to put on some muscle mass. This guy is going to be a dog. You look at this defense here in Seattle now. I mean, this is going to be fun. I'm excited. I am starting to become a Seattle fan because now Nehemiah Pritchett, you got Kobe Bryant, you got Trey Brown, you got Kavon Wallace. This secondary off the bench looks really good. And then you got Devon Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen, right? Michael Jackson. They're going to have some really good DBs here for a really long time as well. I am super excited to see what they do. Last season, ranked number 26 in completion percentage allowed, 24 in yards allowed per pass, 22 in yards allowed per game in the air, and also 21 in interception percentage, 13 in sack percentage as well. When you look at DJ James' stats from 2023, led the team with 10 PBUs, started 12 games, had 38 tackles, 3.5 tackles for a loss, and 2 interceptions as well. I love this pick for the Seattle Seahawks. It's an absolute steal. Highway robbery once again. Wow. Now, unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to cover the entire draft class, but if you guys want a part 2, comment down below part 2. We can cover a little bit of Tyrese Knight. We can cover, Michael Jarrell, AJ Barner, Satoa Lamoa. I think that's how you say his name. Probably butchered it. But if you guys want the part 2, let me know in the comments down below. Also, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. It's free, doesn't cost anything. And with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next Seattle Seahawks video. Hopefully it's soon. Peace.